Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thanks for the educators for giving our question today. Your national debating team from Muhammadiyah Buton University. I'm Fitriani Abbas, and this is my partner Safiuddin as second speaker. So the motion today is this house as a first generation immigrant parent of color in predominantly white country would choose to live and raise children in an ethnic enclave. So let's begin by understanding. The first is our team is very strongly agree with the motion. Let's begin by understanding the background or the definition of our motion. I'm going to divide into two keywords. The first is first generation immigrant. The terms first generation immigrant refers to an immigrant, a foreign-born resident who has relocated and become a citizen and or permanent resident in a new country. For example, a first generation Mexican American is someone who has born in Mexico and immigrated to the United States, and then European countries as recipients of immigrants have long been and familiar with the dynamics of the influx of foreigners into their territory. However, immigration has played an important role in the transition process and population growth in European science times. And then in Article 1, Number 1 of Law Number 6 of 2011 concerning immigration is about the traffic of people entering or outside the territory of Indonesia and is brought in order to protect upholding state sovereignty. According to Article 1, Number 9 of Law Number 6 of 2011 about immigration, a foreigner is a person who is not citizen in Indonesia. Foreigners residing in Indonesia must have a permit in the form and valid travel documents such as passport or visas and residence permits legitimate. And the second is giving advantage in economic point of view, like increase or economic income, everything like that. So we will repeat again based on our motion, our explanation about the things we strongly agree about the motion today. That's all for me. As first speaker, and the explanation will be continued by second speaker, time and place for Safiuddin.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Now I'm going to start by giving you several actual arguments, evidences and reasonings that we need to understand about this motion today. But before we elaborate that, these several arguments and others, we as a government team strongly agree with the motion that this house as a first generation immigrant parent of color in a predominant white country would choose to live and raise children in an ethnic enclave. Now first I want to give a strong to this immigration law that my first speaker has said. In Article 1, Number 1 of Law Number 6 of 2011 concerning immigration, immigration is about the traffic of people entering or outside the territory of Indonesia and is worked in order to protect upholding state sovereignty. So the points why we agree or disagree with the motions are: number one, we as a human being or human race has separate all over the world. Whether you are the Chinese or Indonesian or Indian, use from the first generation until now, we have spread all over the world, and we live in another territory such as North America, Europe, and Korea, etc. And then in Indonesia, for example, has many different ethnic, culture, languages, and many other aspects relate to this motion. And as we know that Indonesia has a slogan, it is Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, which means that we have a diversity in culture, in ethnic, and every aspect in our life, but we stand together as a human being, whether we have different color, different language, different ethnic, and etc. And then, as we know that in Europe, for example, divided into two parts. Those are Western and Eastern Europe, and another white country also, such as North America. But as we know that in news recently, in North America, even racism grew up since 6th century until now. But the majority of people and the whole world condemn that what's happening in about racism and what's that? What's difference in the region. And then another example also in Europe, Western Europe, for example in Britain. Now you can see that there are a lot of immigrants living in the UK without any racial, ethnical discrimination. Only 1 or 2 people who still have that kind of discrimination in their characteristic. But still, they have advantage in order to grow the economic sector in that country, such as in Britain and Korea and North America also like that. Okay. And another example, is even in our country, even in our island. We in Baobab have many different culture, many different ethnic, such as Bali people come to this island. They have their own culture, their own area, which live in their life, and they don't they don't remove their culture, their characteristic of their characteristic. Okay, now so we as a government team again support this motion because this the evidence and reasonings that my first speaker and I as a second speaker said. Okay, thank you for great attention for all of you. We strongly agree with this motion. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.